Their job is to make money. So the
But
biggest actually cost of a company is the people that work for them. So if I want to make a New York Yankees there or a Make American Great Head, and that shit costs me $30 to do in the United States, but it costs $5 in China, that's exactly
Mhm.
what I'm going to do.
But
I'm
that's
going
the
to
whole. But that's the whole idea
it's
of the
not that.
tariffs. That's the whole idea of the tariffs. That's the whole idea of incentivizing companies. You got to remember, federal government only has so much power, right? Because the federal government is pretty much controlled by large corporations and large donors, right? And I want to
Mhm.
get chaotic in this too. Um, but the federal government has to incentivize. Like when she says, "Well, we want to build 3 million new houses," the federal government is not building anything. They're not building three million new houses. It costs them $165 million at 600,000 per unit in order to build up a permanent homeless encampment over in California, over in Los Angeles, over on Skid Row. Right. So they're incredibly inefficient. They can't do it. And so they then start to throw money at people and throw money at things similar to the infrastructure deal, similar to the CHIPS Act. All all they can do is incentivize in order to compete. And so
Yeah,
I
and
think that you need to have business acumen, business relationships, because you cannot tax your way to death. That we see that happening in Canada, and a lot of people are defecting away from Canada because even their capital gains taxes is crazy. It's insane. You can't
and
tax your
see
way to wealth.
and see the thing about it, Fatty, when you're talking about using, farming out certain things, right? I have a particular style of editing, right? And the
Yes.
problem is when you're farming that out to somebody, number
Mhm.
one, on Fiverr, what they're charging to edit a freaking 5 minute video. Most of them they have like little limits. It's like, oh, 5 minute video, five. It's like
Yes.
I have a specific thing that I'm looking for, which means I need someone that I can see and I can meet with and I can explain, okay,
Yes.
this is how I want this done because good help, as you know, is hard to find. And it's even harder when you're trying to farm it out to somebody in another freaking country that doesn't even understand what you're trying to break down. Like I've literally went through this. You
No,
feel what I'm saying?
that's what you and Anton do. You guys don't trust people which are the quality, like you want quality control. You want to micromanage situations so the brand looks exactly like you want it to look. You want him to know go left, go right. You want somebody that you can trust when you go to sleep. You wake up and there's not a mess that has nothing to do with your brand on screen. But the reality is DHL doesn't care about that shit. And when you leave their customer support, you are talking with somebody in India because it's way easier to pay
I,
100 people in India than to pay 20 people in the United States that are getting way
no,
more
I
money
think
and
that
they're doing lesser job.
I
He's
think that
not
that's
going to bring the
changing
jobs
though.
back because he can compete with that. It's
I think that
impossible.
that's changing though because if you look at people are starting to care more about quality than just the cost. I think that people would prefer to pay more for better quality. So, for example, Costco traditionally has always paid its workers more than a traditional warehouse or grocery store, and they always have been profitable and they always boom. And I think it's a balance that you got to have. Right? You just can't charge people an incredible amount of money just because they're getting better quality or just because they're
Mhm.
hiring U.S. workers. You also have to give them the value that they want for the money. So everything is not going to be incredibly more expensive. And so you pick and choose the things that you can make more profit from while at the same time trying to balance quality of life and also worker morale and allowing for them to be able to make a decent amount of money so that they can make a living also. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, um, I figure out, so yeah, I pay my editor a lot more. Like my editor makes over $80,000 a year. The other side of it though is that my editor works hard. So he's not just doing editing or stuff like that. He's bringing more value to me. And so he actually takes on more work versus just making $80,000 a year. So, he's also somebody that's in my family. And so I keep the money in the family and all of that other type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a balance. But I think that people are willing to pay for quality a little bit more
People, companies,
than
no.
No. Companies too, because people are like,
Apple and
listen,
China
listen, listen.
will not manufacture that shit in the United States. That shit will be forever in China, Thailand, whatever, because they get the bang for their buck. They can do something for 100 and sell it for a
But
thousand. Like
here's
these
the thing,
companies are
Fatty.
a,
But
huh?
here's the thing, Fatty. I think there's a disconnect in the level of companies that you're talking about.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
if we're looking at what Kamala Harris is talking about, oh, I'm
Hmm?
not going to tax anybody that makes under 400,000, right? Imagine what a company looks like that generates a $500,000 a year. That is not a large company. That's not one of these companies that's trying to cut costs by farming out the work somewhere else. That is a small company at best. It's probably hiring people that are local or something like that. If they're generating 500,000 to $1 million a year or whatever, right? So it's not one of those companies that you're talking about where they're trying to get cheap parts from freaking China or something.
Let
So
me let me let
so
me hold on, Fatty. 1 second. Let me get chaotic in here. What's going on, chaotic?
Anton, salute, man. You are the king. But I did write in the chat that I came up here for the smoke.
Okay, I'm
You
with it.
probably
I'm with it.
you probably know what this is about.
I don't.
I, I was live streaming all day. I had a
Hmm.
meeting and I got a notification that you were live.
Hmm.
And what I saw was my dear and beloved fraternity brother and your slander towards him. Now, I'm not a Roland Martin fan at all, politically speaking. But I have to do damage control. Now you had that man's face up here for an hour. Scroll in the overlay. Something about a booty something.
Yeah, I
Now
seen
let's
it. That shit is
now let's
wild.
I gotta do quality control because that is my fraternity brother, dear sir. Now you have no facts, you have no evidence.
I didn't say that he was that. I
You
asked. I asked
okay?
a question, and the question that I asked was, considering what we've witnessed, right? And Quentin and Slimmy, did I not
Okay, I didn't
preface
see
the
that.
question by saying that I never want to accuse somebody of something that we don't
It's
definitively
a
have
fact.
proof of? I
That's a
prefaced it by
fact.
saying that.
Okay,
And so what I
okay.
asked was, consider, and I gave the additional context of what happened in the video and that he's
I didn't
scrolling in
see
the
that.
algorithm. But what I asked was, my real question is, considering that this happened, why are people continuing to follow Roland Martin when it comes to his political perspective and what it is that he's saying and spewing? And why are men? Because I'm gonna just tell you, chaotic. That was a wild clip. A man with his butt out walking down a rainbow hallway is a wild clip.
Things
So he
happen on
was walking
Twitter.
down the Rainbow Road.
Yes.
Easy, easy. Things happen on Twitter when you're scrolling through.
Nope,
So
not on
all
mine, nigga.
Not on live stream.
not
Not
on
Not
on
on
mine,
mine.
live
not on
stream.
mine, not on mine. But after listening to this communist on the panel, Fatty, you can understand the
Dang.
liberal mind right there. So of course that's why people are continuing to follow Roland Martin. They're socialists. They love welfare, and I rock with
Yeah,
Fatty. But look,
but hold on, chaotic. Here's the thing though. I don't tell people what they should do inside of their households. I have a stance of what it is that I think that men should operate like. But as long as you're not promoting it to other people, as far as trying to influence what happens with their children inside of the schools and the books that they read and stuff, I think it should be a separation. You can do whatever you want in your household. I don't care. I don't
wait.
have to like it, but here's the problem though. The thing that Roland Martin is promoting is a party that largely champions
That is true.
that
That is
as
that is
the
true.
landmark legislation that came with previous President Obama.
Obama, correct? Yes.
And so now when you start to put it to pieces, because I can't just ignore the connecting the dots, right? Oh man, that is a sassy party. Okay. And Roland Martin was has some sassy stuff on his screen. That's a crazy correlation.
I'm just here for quality control with my dear friend. That's
I
it.
got a question. I got a
You
question.
know.
If he's your frat brother, right?
Yes, he is.
Same fraternity, right? So my question is,
Yep, the circle jerk.
What's going on during Hell
Oh,
Week fraternity?
See,
I
see, that's
we
see right there. See.
we gotta
Again,
oh.
question.
ag- again, that man is married. He has kids.
No, he
He's an
doesn't.
upstanding.
Who
He doesn't. I thought he had. I thought Roland Martin had kids.
Oh, he ain't got no kids.
is he
Really?
married?
I thought he was.
He's married.
I know
He
he's
don't got
married.
He's
Nah, he
married.
don't got
He's
no.
married to a woman.
Yeah,
No, I don't know because you know that
His wife's
you
his
can.
wife's name is Jackie Martin.
Okay,
Jackie Martin.
shout out to him being married to a woman. That still does
like
not
say
mean that he
Reverend.
don't. That doesn't mean that he may not enjoy watching men that walk down hallways.
Could it
In his
be
spare
that?
time.
Could it be? So I thought that was okay. Go ahead, Quentin. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is the quality of what that man does?
I learned a new word tonight, and this is your fraternity partake in circle jerks.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This, see,
No,
this
no,
is what I'm
no.
talking.
Oh, wait, no, no, no. No. Hey, hold on, CT. When did you learn about that word? When did you learn about that word?
What word?
Where did you learn
Circle
that, sir?
jerk. Circle jerk.
Circle
When
jerk
did you
is
learn?
not a word. That's two
It's
words. So
political
that'll be
jargon.
that'll be a
It's
When
a
did you learn
phrase.
about? Excuse me. When did you learn about this term? When did you learn about that?
In high school.
Oh, you. Oh,
yes.
okay. I was about to. I learned about it at Kent State. I didn't know
I,
about it until I got to Kent.
I
no,
learned about
I
it on
heard
the
about.
Anton Daniels after hour show.
You
We used
really
to talk.
you really think
Go ahead.
circle joke is like people getting in a circle and just jerk each other off? Do you really believe that?
See,
And I'm
see.
just
Thank you,
I'm just trying
thank
to
you, Fatty.
understand if you really believes that. Do you really believe like a circle jerk is like 10 people in the room and they like are jerking each other off? Like you really believe this that?
Okay, so
That's
so fatty,
where
so
the
fatty.
term came.
Seeming as how I would never participate or be around. I can only go by what I've heard. Does that make sense? Because I'm not going to be involved. I'm a straight male, so I can only go by word of mouth. So what
So
do you
so
think
when
it is?
so when a person says you gotta be shitting me, you think it's somebody drop their pens and shitting on another person? Like you really think is that, or you think it's an analogy or like something that is comparable? They're trying like a
No,
figure of
brother. This is a term that people use that I've heard multiple people express themselves about.
But there's a
Yeah.
circle.
but there's a bigger question at hand here. Okay, the question is, why wasn't Roland Martin surprised when them buns popped up there? Why why didn't he
See,
say, "Oh my God, what is this?" Like he didn't do none of that.
he did. He did.
Too
He did.
calm.
He was angry, man. He did. He was on mute, and you could see how irate he was. And again, things happen on Twitter. That's all I'm saying. That's happened on my Twitter account, but I can understand. You're scrolling through
I have
something.
never seen something like that on my Twitter account. The
It has
worst
Nah,
to be
thing,
your
nah,
algorithm. It
bro,
literally has to
listen,
be
the
in your
worst
nah,
thing that
algorithm.
I've
bro.
ever seen on my Twitter account is like a fight break out between a teacher or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've never had just a random scrolling and just seen some wild stuff just pop up on my stuff. I
I
just
may
My
haven't
have
seen
had
that, bro.
some
ex
great
account
stuff.
is
I ain't know.
nothing but my ex account is nothing but conservative posts. That's it.
Mm,
Like when I scroll through, I don't see nothing but conservative stuff. I've
I,
never seen no buns just pop up there.
You know,
Ever.
to be
buns.
honest, I watch corn on X. So if one day I get caught, I'm sorry, guys. Just man.
Yeah, but
I say
what
that
kind do you
As long
watch
as I ain't no
men?
man's buns, you're
no, no,
fine.
yeah, no, but you know that if you scroll long enough, like you know when you start to
No,
scroll and like
no,
no, the
no.
five first posts are related to the first one, and then when you scroll the
No,
seven part, is
nope.
somebody
On my
literally
seventh
throwing
page, it
something off
still
the
be
bridge.
fat white
No,
women
that's
on my
literally
seventh
X.
page, nigga. Nope.
X and Reddit work the same fucking way. Like you scroll the five times and it's kind of related.
Nope.
After that,
Nope.
you are on the deep end. You don't know where
Nope.
you landed.
Every single
By the way,
page on my
I
Pornhub is
can't vouch
fat
for that
white
one,
women getting
Fatty.
plowed.
let me ask a
Nope.
question then. Is this man, I don't know what this man's job is. He has a fucked up airline, just like mine. So does his job get worse if he's actually on the closet? Is he less competent? Is he somebody that becomes
Yes.
untrustworthy
Yes.
all of a sudden? Like
Yes. We don't
what
fuck with
why
them
is
no
the
more.
yes. Go ahead.
Black people don't fuck with you when they find out that you be getting your buns clapped.
But yeah, but what is his job actually? What is his position?
That's not true.
He's
That's
just
not true, Quentin.
he's a
Political
political
commentator, Fatty.
commentary, and but he also comments on things outside of politics, but the core of what he does is he does political commentary on his own platform.
But
Did
Anton,
he?
here you go.
Does that
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
contradict anything? Does that contradict anything that he
I think
pushes? Like,
so. I think so because me personally, I think so because when
mm,
I hear him speak, he's 100% liberal. Like he's
Yeah.
100% for the Democratic Party. And I would say that he's an extreme. He's a far left
Yeah.
Democrat, right?
I
mm,
And
agree.
so when you take that into consideration, and then you also take into consideration the things that they're championing and who they're fighting for, and I see Billy Porter dancing on the White House lawn all the time, and all of that type of stuff. I try to figure out what the incentive is because Roland Martin, and here's the key: Roland Martin don't say alphabet community people for Kamala Harris. He says black men for Kamala Harris,
mm.
which I believe is the party that actually emasculates black men.
That is true.
Um,
That's a
and
fact.
so and so when I started tying those things
I'll
together, I think that it kind of does lose credibility because the thing that you mask yourself as or masking what it is that you're protecting or what you're advocating for, which is not what's best for us, while at the same time acting like that is what's best for us through alternative, ulterior motives. I think that absolutely makes you lose credibility.